So I want to just go back a little bit in time and then sort of say what was going on in society at a particular time when the City of Hume made particular decisions and why they made them and where the Bill of Rights fitted into the Social Justice Charter. I found a bit of paper, which I'm very pleased that I've still got, it was a notice of motion that I put to the Hume Council on the 3rd of November 1999 at a time when my colleagues and I were not in a majority. But the notice of motion it was expressed a little bit clumsily, the sentiments are okay, that the Hume Council, in conjunction with the state and federal governments, community service agencies and the community, develop a long-term strategy for the city to significantly reduce disadvantage within the municipality. That notice of motion got passed. Why was it put up at the time that it was? Well, it was the Jesuit Family Services, as most of you will know, undertake a survey of disadvantage in Victoria and most of New South Wales every couple of years. And they had just undertaken that and published the proceedings in 1999. And of all of Victoria, Broadmeadows was the third most disadvantaged area in the state. And Broadmeadows is one of the parts of Hume. Hume population about 150,000, includes the airport, includes Sunbury, Greenvale, and Broadmeadows, Craigieburn, a lot of others. So within the city, there's a lot of diversity, but also there is a lot of diversity even in terms of, say, income and other type of measurements of equity. But in Broadmeadows, it was a place where you had a whole lot of areas of disadvantage. Even when the unemployment levels were in the rest of Hume were round about the metropolitan state average, Broadmeadows is always double. So there's, it's had a history. It's a fantastic place, Broadmeadows, but it's always had a history of disadvantage. And that's why in 1999, I put up this particular resolution which got adopted. 2000, there were new council elections, and the people I was associated with got the majority, and we had a very clear sense of direction of where to go, a true commitment to social justice, and it was just one of those interesting experiences. I've been in local government a long time in two municipalities, the old city of Preston, and for the 12 years at the city of Hume. And it was one of those situations that in 2000, when I was elected mayor, you actually knew that you had the numbers behind you, and you knew that there was a shared sense of values about what was important. So I never had to look behind my back or wonder whether I'd get support. I knew there was a commitment. You don't always have that in local government or any other sphere of community. In that particular year, I did, and there was just a great deal of support. So in the year of 2000, the first social justice charter was developed and launched by the former Premier John Cain at the time, because again, if you go back in years, during the Cain years, he established a Victorian social justice charter. Disappeared obviously after that, and there always seemed to be a bit of embarrassment about using the term social justice. But we certainly at Hume adopted that and used the framework of the Cain government of years ago. Didn't try to redefine what is social justice, just used the same principles that went in the mid-1980s Victorian social justice charter. And what again became very important with Hume is that every year since then we have reported back to the local community on social justice. So that's the social justice launch in March 2000, or February, March 2001, the report 2002, 2003, and going right up until last year, 2008. When we reviewed, and I'm sort of moving on in the time frame to the time where we actually specified that we'd also have a Bill of Rights. One of the inquiries that we held was an inquiry into to poverty in the city of Hume. And the conclusions of the poverty inquiry surprised me somewhat. I had preconceived ideas that the majority of people who are unemployed on sickness benefits, etc., would be saying that what we need is an increase in the federal government type of benefits. Well, yeah, that got mentioned, but it was nowhere near the top of the list. What people were saying is that they wanted to be treated with respect, have the ability to make their own decisions on issues that affected their life. They wanted to be able to participate within their community and have support within the community to make their own decisions about themselves and their family. And fantastic outcome, but it surprised me a little bit. Maybe I should have anticipated that. But as a result of the poverty inquiry, when people were saying, look, we want respect, we want opportunities, we want equality. And that was where we said, well, if we're going to have social justice is about rights, but we haven't clearly articulated what it was. So we, the following year, introduced our first, and we termed it a Bill of Rights. The only comment I'll make a couple of comments on the first Bill of Rights. Funny how things can escape your attention. In the first Bill of Rights, we didn't say anything about freedom of speech. It was implicit, but not explicit. How did that pass me by when we saw the first, the drafting of the bill? I've got no idea. But it did talk about participation and involvement in community. So it was implicit that if you're going to be able to do a whole lot of things within your community, then you did have freedom of speech. But in subsequent drafts, we wanted to make it a bit more explicit. We got ridiculed because what is this, a local council having a Bill of Rights? You're not a parliament. And I can remember the then non-entity shadow minister for local government getting up in Parliament and referring to Hume and saying they should spend more time looking after their roads and rubbish rather than trying to pretend they're a mini parliament with a Bill of Rights that means nothing and can't be enforced. So